I'd like to call a regular board meeting to order. We would all rise and say the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Marevka? Here. Jones?
Here.
March?
Here.
Parker?
Here.
Ham?
Here.
Bowden?
Here. In your packets are the minutes from our June 29th, 2020 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Been moved by trustee Jones, seconded by trustee Parker.
Jones?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Marevka? Present. And March?
Yes. Next is the accounts payable and payroll. Payroll for the pay period ending 6/27. 2020 is $46,218.84. Accounts payable in the general fund, $21,803.66, and the motor fuel tax fund of $1,289.50. The total for those two funds is $23,093.16. Are there any questions on payroll or any of the bills? If not, I will entertain a motion to pay the bills.
Motion.
Second.
Been moved by trustee Ham, seconded by trustee Marevka.
Ham?
Yes.
Marevka? Yes. March?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
And next,
Parker?
oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Nope, not done yet.
Parker?
Yes.
And Jones?
Yes.
I had to think my
Yeah,
way
that's
around the
okay.
way the table goes.
All right, next public comment. Any public comment?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Noreen, Pieton Public Library District. Thank you, Amy, for hooking me up. I appreciate it. I just wanted to let you know that the library did reopen on July 6th. We have our normal hours. Everyone's been very supportive. Do require masks. We have limited services. There's no programs that are being held on site. Everything is all virtual. And you go to our website to see what programs are available. They range from our story times to gardening programs to self-help programs and money matters types of things. So give us a call if you have any questions. Stop in, come see us, bring your mask with, and thank you for everyone for your patience. We appreciate it.
Noreen, I have one question for you. Noreen, are you able to get books from other libraries right now?
Yes, delivery started again on June 29th. So we are able to get materials from other buildings.
Perfect. Okay, so maybe for the camera, I don't know if everybody could hear her. Noreen, our librarian, said the library is open regular hours, masks are required. There's no programs going on right at the library, but they're doing quite a bit virtually. So, okay, public comment?
Hi, my name is Roy Hupke. I live in Pieton on Oak Street. I'll make it very brief. The reason I'm here is due to all the disrespect and things that have been happening with the police department and the police officers all over the country. My wife and I, Kimberly, and myself thought that it would be just a small token of our appreciation that we would donate 16 $20 gift cards to the police department, its staff, and recording secretary. Pretty much it's just to stay safe, and I would like to give them to Chief Mort, I'm sorry. There's also, the receipts are on here in case there's any issues with the gift cards.
Thank you, Roy.
That's it.
I'll touch you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Okay. Any other public comment?
Hi, I'm Diane Aaron's for the Pieton Car Club.
Okay?
I thought we'd come back and just give you an update. So we're gonna proceed. We did add the cruise. So, I have maps for everyone if you kind of take and pass down. The hours will be, so in order to make it more reasonable to comply with the IDPH guidelines, we eliminated a registration tent. We cut down the admission price from $20 to $10 to reflect that. We won't have goodie bags. We won't have t-shirts. We're selling t-shirts online instead of being able to purchase at the show. So there's no central location in order to pick up t-shirts or anything like that. Like I said, we eliminated the registration tent. So it'll just literally kind of just be a pay to park sort of show versus what we traditionally do. We normally have about 60 trophies. We cut it down to 20, and it's just going to be club choice. So the club is going to walk around and hand choose what they decide is a winner, per se, and there's handmade trophies for that. And, we did get 2 porta potties and a hand sanitizing station, and then we added hand sanitizer in all of it. So the watching station and the porta potties will have hand sanitizer. And then we're also going to go the night before and mark social distancing guidelines. We figure behind each car is at least 6 feet between cars. So, but we'll also mark along the street, hey, this is 6 feet, this is 6 feet, 6 feet from the bathrooms, 6 feet from businesses and stuff like that. So, and we cut the hours down from 11 to 4. We do plan on being up there early, just because with it being such a long-running show, people have a tendency to show up very, very early regardless. So we plan on being up there around 7 a.m., but we anticipate that the actual show will only start at 11.
What time is the cruise?
4 p.m. Yes, we're anticipating like 11 to start, 1 p.m. walk around judge, 4 p.m. cruise. It'll end back at 2nd Street and then disperse. Todd spoke with Chief Mort as well, and they're okay with it. They have a map of the cruise route. Todd also spoke with Chief Schreiber, and they're going to provide a fire truck at the beginning and a vehicle at the end as well. And then we also will have a brass band, I believe, at noon, social distanced, to play some patriotic songs. So,
Very good.
any question?
With the 6-foot spacing between the cars, will the normal display area be the same?
Yeah, we figured, we went ahead and kind of walked downtown and kind of measured that even if they straight parked and, figure 2 people behind each car, if you go, because, people with their classic cars don't like to be that close anyways. We figured it would at least still be 6 feet if they sit behind their cars. Now, we're going to encourage them to sit in the street versus sitting on the sidewalk so that people can still get through the sidewalk and social distance. And that'll give them access to businesses. But yeah, it literally from car to car, it'll be 6 feet.
All right, any other questions?
Okay, great, thank you.
Are you the Andrew that does the Pieton community page?
I am.
Monitoring?
Yes,
Well,
I
thank you
am.
for doing that.
Thanks.
It's a tough job.
It is at times, yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Any other public comment? If not, move on to reports of committee. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we have So I'm Scott Sells, live on Corning,
I'm Nicole Green.
Pieton residents. So we, with 2 other people, have started the Pieton Beautification Committee.
Oh, wonderful.
We just want to make you guys aware of it. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for anything right now. We understand times are really tough and we get it. We're putting together a plan. We'll get it back to you guys later on. But we really just want to get community involved in making Pieton look a little prettier. Maybe starting with some of the signs. And so we wanted to come before you guys and get permission if we could, or who we need to talk to. Maybe do some plantings of some perennials or some fall plantings around the Pieton, the Pieton entry signs.
Great.
We'll pull weeds, and then we want to ideally get involvement of schools and groups and other people. We're going to do a Facebook page and just get people involved in pots and plants. And I talked to Donna about it and Stacy about it before, and we know that there have been challenges before with pots and trees and potting, plants around planters downtown and the bars and what goes with that. So, but hopefully we can move forward and start making Pieton look a little more pleasant in some areas, and it will encourage people. We also, I'm actually from Florida originally, moved up here. My husband David's he's a Bruner Rollo. He's been here 100 years, Gene and Jim Bruner. So we know the history of Pieton, and we know that, there can be great things that can happen for it. And we want to just, and Nicole is very involved, and you used to do the farmer's market, correct? Mm-hmm. So we just want to get it kind of revitalized and moving forward, and
Great.
whatever we can do.
What was your name again?
Scott Sells, Sells.
Did you guys sign in?
Pardon?
Just making sure.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
So can we plant around signs? I know there's always, and I spoke with Donna, we talked about who maintains, who waters. So we're going to work with some horticulturalists to find out some, low water needs plants, some things that can, so it won't be high maintenance.
Right.
None of us want high maintenance, and we don't want it to look bad. But it can look a little better than it is.
I would suggest, right now, Bob, don't you guys maintain those things out there? So the Public Works Department, Bob, is our head of the Public Works. Talk with him, and
Okay.
I'm sure he'd be more than happy for the help. Right, Bob?
Right.
So, and then if you have any other plans, feel free to contact me. My email's easy. It's mayor@villageofpieton.com, and I'd love to see what you have in mind. And
Where I came from in Florida, one thing that was done that was very positive is, and we're paying for it, our group, we're having a sign created, Pieton Beautification Yard of the Month. And so the idea behind it is, it's not always who has the most expensive or the fanciest yard of the month. It's who's taken that little initiative to make their yard better. Who's gone in and weeded their yard, or just planted just a couple of little plants, something that you just notice that it's nice to, get notice for. And then we'll just go and then just kind of plop our little yard of the month sign. They wake up and they're like, oh wow, I have yard of the month. Again, it kind of gets everybody talking and thinking and seeing and thinking, oh wow, I want that, because I know how I felt when I received it before. It's validation for the fact that you have put effort into your yard. So hopefully people will start seeing these things and start recognizing and thinking, where can I go? And so we're creating a Facebook page. We're going to put tips and lawn tips and yard tips and little decorating tips, and we have some crafty people involved, and they we have writers, and so we have some pretty skilled people that are involved that wanted to do this. And so we think it could be pretty cool getting, involvement, and I know you're big into that.
Yeah. I do have a question. The sign that comes in Ratchy Road and Joliet, where the
Curve is?
triangle is,
Yes.
is there plans to replace that sign?
Mike, do you know, did you ever?
We had talked at one point about talking like to John Foss,
Yeah.
which is on Joliet Road right before you get to the curve coming into town.
Yes.
And possibly putting up the same kind of welcome Pieton sign as we've got out by Pearls
Okay.
and by FS.
And the Pearl sign, is that on their land?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we could get them to throw a few dollars, to put a few plants or something, right?
You could always ask.
Yeah, I have no
hurts to
issue with
ask.
asking.
Yep.
So I have no issue. We'll do the labor, or something, so we're cool with that.
How many people are in your group?
Right now we have 4, but I know they have a lot of people who are wanting to get involved with it. So, and then Nicole was saying that, maybe we could get the school kids involved. And once we can get, what were you saying about the park issue?
Well, I think that once more the community is more involved with it, it's better for everybody, right? And people respect more things, and so the more that we get, especially children, and they learn, and just
goes, right? So the more involvement we can all have is better.
Do you have meetings?
Pardon?
Do you have meetings, scheduled meetings?
We did, we have one this afternoon, yes. Very informal right now. So, and yeah, so, but we'll kind of work up some things and some ideas, and
The more
again,
people
very
know
low
about it.
key.
And when the more people know about it too, it'll catch on better.
That's it, and we're, so through the Facebook page, and we're gonna get people to contribute and to throw ideas and, you know, get more community involvement.
And yes, we'll share the meeting dates and time on the Facebook page, which we're developing. So it'll be up shortly, so more people can join us.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Scott, send me your contact.
Pardon?
Send me your contact.
Okay, I will. All right, great. All right, we appreciate it, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So just back to the sign, so is there a plan in place of replacing that sign, or is that just kind of?
Well, we budgeted, I think it was 15,000 per sign to do it, and we had enough money at the time to do two. And right now, funds are pretty tight. But when they become available, I would think we would continue with it.
Can I ask one other thing? So I had posted on Facebook one time, the land right by the mill, to the right of the mill where the white picket fence is, where the lantern used to be. I live catty corner on Corning, and so one day I noticed the lantern was falling off and it's electrical, and it was about to fall off and shatter, so I put something to the village that they need to send a maintenance person to take it down, and they did right away, and so that was great. But the fence really looks crappy. Who maintains that fence? Is it the mill, the Historical Society of the Mill, or is it the village, or is it?
Well, that's always been kind of an issue. I mean, the village owns the mill, but the Historical
Yes.
Society has always been in charge of the maintenance, really. I don't know, Bob, who mows out there?
We mow it, but they're in charge of, their different projects from year to year, so
Yeah.
it's whatever they come up with.
The fence just needs to come down. There's nothing attached, and it has live electrical to it.
Now, do we own that part of it? Didn't Ratchie keep like a section of that? Or just,
It's kind of a weird lot there. If you follow the posts on the east side all the way back, it's not the width everybody thinks it is.
Yeah.
I think that we only own like the section the mill is on and right up to the back of it. Like that,
You are correct.
that east
Yeah.
part of it. I don't think we own that, but, I mean, that doesn't mean that we can't ask the Historical Society or somebody to take care of it.
Someone needs to take it down, yeah. It
Yeah.
looks bad, but it also has live electrical through it.
Yeah.
That, it's just sitting there.
Okay,
So, yeah, you may want to address that. So, great.
thank you.
All right, we appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, you guys. Thanks.
Any other public comment? Okay, now moving on to reports of committee. Village Administrator report.
I gave you your report tonight, it was at your place. If you have any questions on it, let me know. I just want to point out that the Presbyterian Church at Mantino has resubmitted their application for the property on Crawford, and that'll be on the August Planning and Zoning Commission agenda, FYI.
Did they change anything on that, or is it just,
No, there really hasn't been any changes to what they're asking for as far as the variances go. I do believe that the application submittal is a bit different. It's tweaked a bit, if you will. And it's on file for examination if you want to see it.
Any other questions for Amy? Police chief report? Nothing? Troy, engineer report?
Yes, most of you probably already saw on Corning Avenue, the water main project is moving along pretty quickly. I believe they have all the water main installed on the west side of the railroad tracks. So I know they want to start on the east side soon, and they're still waiting on the railroad permit. But their goal is to have it all complete by September 1st. That way, we can get in and start doing the Corning resurfacing project that the contractor's waiting to begin.
How did they, somebody asked me, do they install the whole main first and then go and connect the,
Start hooking it up.
the service line?
Yeah, I believe so. So the old main is still in service.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gotta keep the old main online until they get everything hooked up and tested.
What happens if the railroad doesn't get us that permit before that date?
Well, as far as the water main, it'll be on hold at getting the new water main going. But as far as the resurfacing, the federal Pieton resurfacing project, we could still do it because that's outside of the limits. There's that omission from first to third. So once they get all the main done for that part of it, they can start the resurfacing project outside of the, railroad part. And then the other item I had is the West Street resurfacing project from Corning to Joliet, the one that's gonna happen in 2021. The phase one environmental was approved rather quickly from IDOT, so now we're starting to work on the design. And I know they're gonna be out there, I think this Friday, doing pavement cores, just in case anyone sees, a big drill in the road, that's what it's for. So it'll be nice if that's done next year, 2021, West Street, at least the north half of it. Corning will be done by then, and then Rathje and Route 50 are recently done, so all your kind of major roads through town will be paved by next year.
I know what about the West Street, the other side of
The
West
south
Street?
part?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that would be our next major project.
It's just, yeah, it depends what you want to do. If you want to do a resurfacing project, it's simple, you kind of apply it like you did for the North Street, but it sounded like you guys wanted to do curb and gutter
Yeah.
and more drainage, so I talked to Amy about this. I think if you want to apply for funding for it, and that'll come back up in the start of 2022, like we applied for West Street. So the way to realistically get funded is have a phase one pretty much complete.
Okay.
So you'd have to think about if you want to pay up front for a phase one, they no longer allow those for federal funding like they used to. So that's the challenge a lot of towns have had.
So when would that have to be done by?
They usually take at least a year, so you want to get it going by this winter if you decided you want to try to realistically apply for that.
Okay.
I have a question. The electrical lines, like running along Corning, if they ever wanted to put that underground, does that go under the street or does that go in the parkways?
I know they cross the street, but I think they typically put them in the parkways.
I was just wondering, since we had it all dug up, is there a proximity thing that they have to go by on a distance between what you're doing now and where they put their lines?
Well, I mean, that's all ComEd and how they do it. We don't really deal with their installs, they do it themselves, and I don't think you're gonna get them to bury it all, because they have to pay to do it all, but, I don't know exactly what their guidelines are for the underground.
Why don't we ask them? It'd be nice to get that stuff underground instead of all those overhead wires and
I
telephone
mean, you
poles.
can pay them. They'll do it for you underground if you pay them.
They just won't volunteer.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago and it was expensive.
Troy, I have one question for you. The Corning project, I've noticed, I really hope when they do this, you don't cut, right? Early, I want to make sure that, I don't want to pave that road, and then 5 months down the road, I get this, you know what I mean? So, that's one thing. Well, right now, they just put stone. Right. So eventually, once they're done connecting, they're gonna compact the stone, and then put asphalt patch. So we'll just have to stay on that. That's my
One other thing with Troy and Amy and myself are gonna meet with a representative from ComEd, and then the company that did the tile survey out on 97th Street. We're just gonna get a little more information on recommendations they have.
you should have all received my report in your packets. Any questions on that? The other thing, last staff meeting I brought to Dr. March's attention is village branch pickup. This continues to be a program that gets abused, in my opinion. This program was started for the trimming of branches, but it seems to be lately the residents think we're going to dispose of a full tree out of the backyard. I don't think that's right. So what I did is I modified our rules a little bit. I wanted you to review them and give me your thoughts on it.
So everybody should have gotten a copy of, this is kind of what's on the website right now. The only last line is just what he added as far as cutting and disposal of trees on private property, sole responsibility of the resident. So I guess, the issue is that we have a very limited crew that does this every week. And it just puts a lot of pressure on these guys to be chipping up, whole trees that people have cut down. And so, I don't know, you guys' thoughts on? I mean, I suggested we might want to put or have a contractor list available. People will say, well, what do I do with this? Okay, here's a list.
What about like a diameter? Like I have a couple big cottonwoods in the backyard. Occasionally a 6-incher or 8-incher comes down. I mean, is that too big? I mean, what is the diameter?
Yeah, that's what I thought. We probably should put how much? 2 feet.
I mean, I agree with, cutting down an 18-inch tree and just putting everything out but the stump is probably not the right way either, but.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a draft I wanted you guys to look at, so I could always modify and make changes, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest, I kind of, after we talked about it, I just kind of looked on Moni's website and Bourbonnais and they all, some of them have a diameter of what's allowed. And most of them don't even pick up every other week. Most of them are monthly.
Yeah, monthly, yes.
I think we're fortunate that we get it every other week. So, I don't know, Bob, if you want to maybe come up with a diameter that you want to put in there, and then we'll put it on the agenda next time and go for any other discussion on this at all.
I do have one more thing. I just want to ask the residents to please check your piles when you put them out. We ran into a situation today. One of my guys almost ran bricks through our chipper. I don't want my guys hurt or killed, or my machine broke, so that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, all right, good. Any other questions for Bob?
I have a quick question, like the location of the branches and stuff.
Yeah.
I see some people putting them on the corners, which seems like a dangerous location because it needs to be in an area where you can pull your equipment up and.
Right, usually they should put it in the center of their parkway. Corner lots, same thing, put it in the center of the side yard. I could add to modify that too, it's not a problem.
Bob, I know you said you paint crosswalks, and I wanted you to redo those.
The 25s are
5 mile
part of that, Dr. March, yes.
Doing that, and I said the doors on this.
Yeah, that's in our
That's on
plan.
the list too, right? Okay.
The only thing, Dr. March, I wanted to share with you though is we cannot legally, I know you wanted me to make them a different
color.
Legally I can't. They have to stay white.
They have to be white.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they're so faded.
No, yeah.
If you, at least,
I mean, I wanted to make them yellow, but I can't make them yellow. They have to be white.
Okay.
By traffic code.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Anything new with the building at all? Are we?
Yeah, we got our variance, revision back, we're good to go, so I'm gonna get the ball rolling on that, and, try to knock it out as quick as possible.
So, yeah, we got some relief from some of the things they
Yes.
wanted, but,
Not all.
not all of it. So at least we have some direction now.
Yes.
We can just get it done and then get the final approval and
Yeah.
be done with it.
Anything from NICOR about that yet?
Still doing that environmental study. Me and Amy talked about that Friday. We don't ever see anybody out there, but they're doing the
We're still
study.
studying.
Yeah, so,
All right,
thank you.
thanks, Bob. We do not have any old business, new business, special event Tractors for Cure Cash Bash on August 9th, 2020 from 2 to 5 p.m. They're requesting closure of North Street from Railroad to 2nd Street. In your packets, there's a description of what they want to do. And I've talked to Debbie Warner a couple of times about this, and, you know, they kind of rescheduled this event a couple of times, and they want to try to hold it, but, you know, try to follow all the guidelines that need to be followed, so they thought having it outside might provide them with, you know, more space so more people could attend it, and they'll try to, you know, if you read it, I don't have to repeat what she said, but, you know, try to social distancing, have people wear face masks, all that good stuff, so. Chief doesn't have a problem with this, we talked about this before, as far as closing the street, so. Any other questions on it at all? If not, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve.
Motion it.
Second?
So, we're actually approving the street closure on North Street from Railroad to 2nd, and also after Payable. So, moved by trustee Moreno.
Second.
Second by trustee Gadd.
Marissa?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Parker?
Yeah.
Bowden? Mark?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, discussion of holiday office hours, time off. So, Amy included in your packet kind of a description of the issue. In the past, the day before holidays, staff has left early, usually 3 p.m. to noon on New Year's Eve. And it's always, you know, it wasn't in the, really wasn't in the personnel menu, right? Manual.
Correct.
So it was just kind of a, you know.
So it was a gifted amount of time given by previous administration.
Yeah, so, I don't know, since it's not in the policy manual, I kind of wanted to bring it before the board, and get your opinion on it. And, you know, she wrote down here some of the options, you know, option one, you know, if staff wants to take the time off, they can use state benefit time. But, I don't know, what do you guys think? So there's nothing in the manual right now. So I guess what you're saying is we shouldn't allow this, is what you're saying. Right?
What's the normal time? 5?
5, yeah.
The office closes at these times. Just so that's clear.
So I guess what we're looking for from the the board is that you do want them to be, you do want the office to be open till 5 on those days before holidays. And if somebody wants to take the afternoon off or whatever, they can use their paid time off or their, right?
Is that what would be comp time? Is that what that would be called?
It could be comp time, it could be personal time, it could be vacation.
And then if they wanted it, they brought up a union contract. Is that what you're talking about? If they wanted to put it in a union contract?
Yeah, I mean, this
Then they
would
could
be
put it in a
something we'll be
union
bargaining
contract.
next year,
Right.
whenever we settle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's.
give it away now, you give it away.
Right, if we never get it back.
Right.
Okay. So,
How many more early closures are there besides the ones that are stated? It says these are the most common. How many more?
I just don't know, that's just what I was told. I don't know that, I just asked, what days are you know, does the office close other than what's in the handbook? And I was given these, but I was told that there could be other ones, but these are the ones that they were aware of.
It's kind of an open-ended.
Yeah, no kidding.
Donna, what's your experience been? What other ones are there over your years of observing?
This is something that has come about in these later years. Before the office started closing early, we were open until 5 o'clock, and if somebody wanted to take off, you know, with their personal time, but the office stayed open and there were personnel here. So I don't keep track of when they're open or closed. I just come and do my work and go back home.
I'm talking like in years past, how it's evolved, when it says
Years
other,
past, no,
other
we
times.
didn't do this.
so,
We
I
closed
guess-
early for snow one day.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
so, I guess I would like I'd like a motion that we would like the office to stay open until 5, you know, every day except for, you know, holidays.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by trustee Baum, second by trustee Jones.
Bowden?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Maravka?
Yes.
March?
Yes.
Ham?
Yes.
And Parker?
Yes.
Okay, next, discussion of class 5 liquor license fee. Just to give everybody a little bit of background, we've been talking with Mr. Baumgartner about the Vegas Cafe and the liquor license on there. He has a couple of requests. One would be to prorate his current liquor license for this year for the amount of time that they were forced to be closed by the governor. And then he also would like to present his rationale or, you know, an appeal to lower the fee for that, the normal annual license fee. So I told him that, you know, tonight we can consider the proration, but I'd like to have him come to an AOC meeting, and he can give his presentation on, you know, why he thinks we should lower the annual fee, and then we'll take the AOC's recommendation into consideration at a later date then. So, Adam, if you want to, I don't know if anybody has any question for him, but Donna, what's the time frame for the license? I mean, when was it due originally?
The renewal date is May 1,
May 1.
and all the paperwork comes in so that everybody goes to the board meeting, the first meeting in April, so that everything's in place for the May 1 renewal.
So it was 2 months
that, from May 1 to July 1. I mean, that's too much. When will you guys close?
March 16th was our last day open.
Okay.
So we've been down for 106 days.
But March would have been last year's license.
Yeah, I guess I would still look at a proration
April.
just because.
March and April would be last year's license.
Yeah, it still just was a forced closure. Guess it'd still be looking at a proration irregardless of the year. Just more the fact that we were forced to shut down.
Questions, comments from the board?
Have we ever had anything like this before with any kind of permitting and alterations, and there's this COVID thing? I know it's unique, but
It's pretty unique, yeah. So the first, yeah. Yeah, I don't think our bars have never been closed before, except for Prohibition 100 years ago.
We didn't have that many events. How did they handle it? Witness the precedent.
I think we almost have to look at it like businesses accommodating tenants. You know, it's to keep the business functioning and in good standing, and everybody kind of shares in the grief and the expense of it, and doesn't put an unnecessary hardship on a business that when things get out of their control.
So,
Well, I think if we do this, we're gonna have every bar and every restaurant in Pieton in here looking for the same.
It's only fair, and they've already paid all their fees.
Well, I mean, that's what I think that if we do something, we should just, do it across the board. Say a certain percentage that we're going to refund. I don't think we can just do it for one person. Any other thoughts at all? I mean, I guess, the mitigating circumstances for the other places, some of them were still serving meals and drinks. Some of them were, some of them were. It's up to the board.
It was more of an option with them, wasn't it? Whether they wanted to do carryouts and whatever. Adam had no option, it was just.
And he could have still served food while he wasn't here. He could have still done that.
Do you cost share the license with the machine owners at all? Or do you take that on yourself? Would it be unreasonable to ask them to chip in something?
It's illegal. It'd be considered a bribe. The gaming board has very strict rules against terminal operator, which is the company that supplies the machine. If it was up to them, they'd pay for a whole license. They just.
I would think so, yeah. It's good for business.
But the state has a very.
But your cut is equal to theirs, though, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So, essentially they've kind of got it outside the state. The state's not getting the best gig.
Right.
They got the second best gig because they essentially don't have the overhead. So they drop the machines off. They take the same cut we do without it. That's why they're so enticed to always, back in the day, they used to buy people signs and do all sorts of incentives, but the state came down pretty hard on them for to not allow and essentially bribes.
When you're up and running, full bore, what percentage of your business is food?
Well, we don't actually sell food. We have like snacks that we do give complimentary to our guests. I guess I could just say a few things. I think, I do believe it should be something for all liquor license holders. The one clear difference that I think everyone is aware of is my fee's significantly different than everybody else's. So So I think that's probably why no one else is here, because if it was $200, I probably wouldn't be here either. But I guess my reduction would be, I believe, just what I lost is larger than anyone else's entire fee. So just my 106 days is more expensive than any other liquor license in the town. And that's for the whole year. So I think it's a much bigger piece for me probably than most, but I absolutely think, these places were forced to be closed and so.
You have the largest share of all the other license holders in town, and in 2019, $5,000 was 3.9% of your take.
I believe you're incorrect on that. Actually, I know you're incorrect on that.
Okay. I just was looking at the Video Gaming Board website this morning. It says
I take or the
net terminal income is $367,000. I deducted the NTI tax, which is $115,000, which is a state and municipal share. That left $251,000. I divided that by 2 for your take and the machine owner's take, so that's $125,000. So $5,000 is 3.9% of that number in my math, unless I'm looking at the wrong numbers. Can I see that? Yeah.
Any other comments at all, or motion, or anything?
I guess I would comment I'd have is that I probably don't 100% agree with that math, but without having paper in front of me, I can't dispute it. But I guess I feel like that should not be a factor. It should just be a factor of what's fair, and I think what's fair is we were forced to be closed. So I think it's fair that we wouldn't pay a fee to a municipality that is going with the governor's recommendations of forcing us to be closed. So I think you've seen, Mantino waived all of their liquor license fees for the entire year. And if they didn't waive them because some businesses are making money and some aren't, they waived them because I think they saw this as a hardship for businesses. But, I think they went above and beyond, but I think it would be hard to argue that we should pay a fee to a government agency when the government is who forced us to be closed. I think that would be my biggest.
The village didn't force you to close, did they?
I believe if I was open, Chief Mort and probably others would have been knocking at my door. So I think they would have enforced it, absolutely.
Well, if there's no motion, if nobody has a motion, then what I'd like to do is refer this and the annual fee discussion to an AOC meeting. So Adam, you can come with all your numbers and give your rationale for that, and maybe we can come up with something then. So if the AOC, if you guys could come up with a meeting date in the next couple of weeks, that would be great. And we'll let you know when that is. I'll keep in contact, okay?
Okay, Chris, could I ask another question?
Sure.
Just what, I guess, I could ask all board members, just what is what's the rationale for thinking that we should pay when we're forced to be closed? Like, is there, I guess, I don't hear anyone saying anything, so I guess, I'm happy to go to the AOC. I'm just trying to figure out, like, if if the opinion is like, we think it's irrelevant that the government forced you to close, then I guess I just would like to know that, because then I don't want to waste everyone's time. But I guess I'm just looking at this with, I feel like, a very valid point, and I'm just not hearing anyone dispute that point. So I'm just wondering, is it the general consensus that it's just kind of like Mr. Small Business, live with what the government forced upon you and get over it, or is there more to it?
I think there's been a lot of businesses that have suffered. Did you apply for PPP loan?
What's that?
Did you apply for PPP loan?
Yes.
Did you get them?
I did.
Okay. Small business has been helped out by the federal government.
Yeah, I mean, we had to use that, as you know, 75% payroll. So that 25% doesn't even come close to paying the bills.
Yeah.
When we have zero revenue.
Zero revenue.
For 106
Same with the
days.
bars, same with the restaurants, same with the car dealerships. They all had zero revenue.
I disagree with that 100%. I don't think that's zero revenue. We had zero revenue. I mean, zero. We had not one penny went into our account in 106 days. I don't think
Owning a gaming place is a risky deal. I get that. I don't own it. You do. So
right, but we're dealt with things that were forced upon us. I agree. I think everything's a risky deal, but this is something that was forced on us. So like, we didn't have a say. It's not like we made a bad choice or we were told we had to shut down and we couldn't open.
And the village has suffered tremendous retail sales tax loss this year. Because
really?
The village did not make a mistake, did not cause, the same situation we're in. The village is in exactly the same situation. We talked earlier this year, if we wanted to reduce the liquor license fees for everybody, we decided no. Okay. I think you bring up a point. Should we reconsider that decision we made back then? We should do it, but it's not just for you, it's for everybody.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I just
And then we need Marcy's input as far as how much money we're going to have.
I guess it's so I'm hearing you correctly, the decision will be made based on the financial state of the village, whether that should be put on the backs of the small businesses.
Big question.
What's that?
It's a very big question. There's a lot of moving pieces here. The village's need for retail sales tax is a big consideration for us. Not for you, I get that. Yeah, the other consideration. Your request is lower your fees. You said no, not lower your fees. You're invited to go to the LOC to discuss it. I think that's where we're at right now.
All right, so we will refer this to the LC committee and we'll keep you apprised of what the date is and what date back then. Okay? Okay. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, I was told Casey's General Store is at on or off, or?
They requested to be taken off the agenda.
Okay.
They will revisit that at another time.
Okay. Okay. Item E, ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the code of ordinances to the village of Pieton, Illinois. This is supplement 2020 S41. These are just, updating of our ordinance book. These different ordinances that we enacted over the last few months. We do this every 6 months. Yeah, there's a lot. All right. I'll entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 2007.
meeting with Mr. Patel, who's the developer for the truck stop travel center on I-57. I'm meeting with him tomorrow, with him and Amy, just to kind of get an update on where he's at and give him an update of where we're at. Just to refresh your memory, we have submitted a grant application to try to get some help with improving the intersection at I-57 so that IDOT will sign off on this project. Amy has kind of told us that, you know, it's quite a competitive grant and our chances are, you know, not very good at getting it, but I wanted to try anyway. So we'll probably hear one way or the other next month, we're hoping. I asked Amy if there was some other, you know, what's our plan B then if they say no? And she mentioned that we could sell some bonds that would be
alternative revenue bonds. they're called.
That could be paid for by our business development district, money that comes in, and also might be able to be backed by, you know, the $12 million that we have in the bank. So I told her that I wanted her to start that discussion with whoever does that. She said the firm that helps with our TIF would be able to help us with that, so that if we do get a no on the grant, that, you know, we'll be ready to go with another plan. I don't know, does anybody have any questions on that at all, or objections? Because I really, you know, I think we all want to see that project move forward, and you know, we want to get development on that side. We want to get Aqua to put the water and sewer in over there, and so I just don't, you know, let's try to keep the ball rolling one way or the other.
Is there any stipulations on Aqua's investment to the west on any business? Can like a restaurant open up over there and they have to provide water, correct?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Everybody who needs water,
Yeah.
sewer, you know.
Okay.
But it's just only the first business that they have to do it at no cost, is my
Right.
understanding. Then
Right.
after that, it's just kind of, you know, how normally business will be conducted.
Right.
If a restaurant did like the hen house or something, like, you know, and obviously not that property, but across the street, I mean, there wouldn't be any IDOT situations with that, right? I guess you have to do a traffic study.
Yeah, IDOT's gonna be involved on everything that's gonna go on over there.
I'd say it would depend on the type of business,
Yeah.
and then, you know, how much traffic it would bring. You know, obviously the truck stop is a large amount of traffic in trucks specifically, so that's why that's a big issue for IDOT. And then the intersection the current intersection is, and 88th Avenue wasn't capable of handling any of that, so.
And it was like, what, $5 million to get over there when we looked at it, correct?
For the.
Getting water west of 57.
Oh, there were different options. I can't remember exactly. I think over $1 million for each water and sewer. My understanding is any business would trigger it to that Aqua having to do it to that point at 88th and Ludington, right?
Yes, that's my recollection of the agreement with Aqua.
I mean, I think the estimates you gave us, I thought they were, it was like from 3 to 5 million.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
If we were to do it ourselves.
Right. That was the big value.